The rut is here in Nebraska. Things are popping off. The activity is nonstop throughout day. Like, now is the time. All day sits. It's wild. I spent the last 2 days of the bow season leading up to rifle pretty much out all day. I mean, except for like a 2 or 3 hour period in the middle of the day, all day, and saw a ton of movement, saw some good bucks, saw a lot of young bucks, saw chasing, saw snort wheezes, just saw a lot of exciting things. As a deer hunter, this is our time. This is what we live for. So it's really exciting to get out there and see that kind of movement throughout the midday. Just awesome. But I wanted to kind of address, I hadn't made a video since like early October, and here's kind of why. Right after I made the last video, I went out on a Saturday morning, setting a field edge stand, and the night before I'd got some very fantastic pictures of a buck that I'd never seen before, but made me very excited. So I went out that morning, and in this area, the deer like to bed really close to where the stand is, and so it's always sketchy getting in the morning, like when it's dark, because you can't see as well as you'd like to, and you step on branches, and like you can kick them up pretty easy. So I waited until right about first light to even start moving in there, and I made it in nice and quiet, and I get up in the stand. I'm like just screwing in my camera mount for my phone, and I hear some leaves crack, and I turn around, and it's the buck from the picture from like 5 o'clock that morning. And I'm just like, what? What do I even, I don't have an arrow nocked. I'm not even sitting down in my stand. I'm still trying to screw in my camera mount. And he's at like 20 yards. So I get set down. I'm like fumbling around with my arrow, trying to get an arrow nocked. Because it's like shooting light, but I didn't want to kick nothing out, and I didn't. But he's there, and I'm not ready. So he starts making his way towards me, and pretty soon I have him directly under me, like not 5 yards, more like 5 feet. And he goes probably another 2 or 3 yards, and he's downwind of me. And he runs off, but he doesn't know what he's even scared of yet. So by this point, I have an arrow nocked, and I drew as he was kind of trotting away, and I yell at him, I go, hey, and he stops, and he's like, I thought he would turn broadside, but he didn't. He like kind of is quartering away, but I'm drawn on him already, and it's probably the biggest buck I've ever had a chance of killing with a rifle or bow, and I let it fly. And I heard a loud whack, like a shoulder, and as he's running away, I can see I got like maybe 10 inches of arrow hanging out of him. So my thoughts are is I snuck behind the front shoulder, and as he was quartered away, I caught his other shoulder and stopped the arrow inside of him. And so I'm like super stoked because it looks like a good shot, right? So I wait probably half an hour, and I get down and I start looking for blood, and I just can't find anything, nothing. And so I'm like starting to make circles around where I shot. Like, I know I had an arrow in him because I watched him carry the Luminoc like 100 yards away. And so finally, I just start going down the trail that I knew he took. And I get like 150 yards away into a little tree line. I could see where he stopped, and he just stood there. And it's just like muscle blood, you know, just like 3 or 4 drops. And so I try to track that, and I track that for 40 yards, and it's just like a drop every 15 or 20 yards. And then it's out into another big opening where I'm guessing he took off and running, and it's just, and like, I don't know how I ever would have been able to find him. Maybe with, I see now people are using like infrared drones and stuff, and like maybe that would have been an option, but I'm not really entirely sure he even died, because like, had that been behind his shoulder on my side and into the opposite side shoulder, there's no way that he wouldn't have coughed up blood, and I would have been seeing a ton more blood by like 200 yards away from the shot. So I don't know. I'm perplexed by the whole deal. I have not seen him since. In the search for blood and like where he could have went, I found where he was bedding, and I found last year's shed, which is right here. So he was a 5 this year, but apparently he was a 4 last year, and a pretty decent 4. So yeah, that's why there has been no videos. But I have some 2 videos of my hunts from these past 2 days, and there's a lot of action, and it was a lot of fun. I wish I could have made something happen, but it's just wasn't in the cards, I guess. So tomorrow morning, we will be going out with this guy. This is my Marlin 4570, and if there's one thing it can do, it's drop deer in their tracks, and it's got a pretty good track record of it. So they will not be getting away from me tomorrow. No out of range deer tomorrow.
pass up the shot. It happens, and it's kind of part of bow hunting, so you just have to try to not be too hard on yourself and just get out there and keep going. But it's 20 degrees this morning, pretty chilly. Got a north-northwest or west-northwest wind. Not really the best wind for this sit, but I think with the RUT activity, you don't know where they're going to come from anyways. And I think this is the best spot I got, so we're going to sit it. I got some good trail cam pictures last night. A nice tall 4x4. Probably about 100, 150 yards north of this stand, so it would be really awesome if he decided to take a step out and let me get a nice broadside crack at him at like, I don't know, 20, 30 yards. But
So if you noticed right there, I said, uh-oh, and there was a loud crack. That was because these two bucks were coming out to the straight south of me, right in front of my stand. And they kind of caught me off guard. And I thought maybe it was that tall 4x4, but it happened to just be two smaller 2.5-year-olds kind of running together, out just cruising, looking for does. And then later in the morning at like 9:30, I look across the creek to the west of me, like 79 yards. This tall 4x4, which is the one I had on camera last night, decides he's going to come across the creek. And I grunted at him a couple times, and I got him walking towards me. And if you here pretty soon, I'll move the camera to where I have him at 25 because I thought he was headed there for sure. And I wanted to be ready and be drawn and everything. Since I film myself, it's kind of tough. But he hangs up at 52, and you'll see me move the camera back, and he's heading into the trees, and there's no shot. But with the old 45-70, I think we can make that happen. We'll just have to wait and see if he decides he's going to come out tomorrow, or it could be along next week, but we'll see.